everyone. It's a general unit. It could be in a certificate, it could be diploma. This is combined concept. So you're welcome. Several students have raised individual concerns of topics that they need help with, and the list has been recorded, and therefore I will be able to get to them one by one. So that means we are not going to do everything right from the introduction to the last topic. I'll definitely be addressing areas of difficulties that everyone needs more explanation. So you pay attention. You should be having your notes printed or in your device. So just make sure that you're in touch, you're following without interruption. So much as you presented your respective topics, I would want to start with page 1 because we can't jump into the middle without first of all understanding deeply what psychology is. Now, the purpose of psychology is to help you understand the general behavior of human beings, including yourself, how people think, how people perceive issues. What I mean by perceiving is receiving information and interpreting. Of course, sometimes you must expect that as you're dealing with the people, you may be misunderstood sometime or most of the time, and that is okay because sometimes people don't receive or see what you're saying, understand what you're saying the way you are saying it. All right, just like somebody meet you by the roadside and tell you I love you. Suppose you're a lady, your perception will varies because that is a very wide or broad word. So that's definitely what we are trying to refer to. The perceptions of people are not the same, and that is what you should be able to. I mean, psychology should help you to understand, and the way people think as well are not the same, but you should be in position to anticipate when it comes to thinking predictions. So it get to a point whereby you must understand why people think the way they think. Why someone would be saying yes or no is normally based on the reasoning, understanding, and perceptions. The feelings. The feelings of human being also need to be understood. The feelings contributes into our decisions, and in other words, that's what we are referring as emotion. So emotions contribute to 70% of what we do every day. Whatever you're doing, you're affected by your emotion. And that's the reason why every human being has to learn to be in charge of their emotions. That's what we call emotional control. Because if you fail to do that, you'll be able to make a kind of decision that we call rational decisions, which are always regrettable in the end. And also, what psychology will help you with is reasons and how people adjust to their environment. Reasons and how. Reasons, what I mean there is why would someone accept to be somewhere, you know, and yet they may not be comfortable, but they will remain there? What is the reason behind that? And why are people able to adjust? Or in other words, let's say adjusting within the environment is basically, let's say something new has comes in your environment. and you can't run away. So the only solution is to adapt into what is happening, and then you learn how to live with it. Just like we had several diseases that had come in. We had COVID-19, which came as a pandemic and eventually was ended. But we have other diseases like HIV/AIDS. HIV/AIDS came and it couldn't be ended. So as a result of that, people had to learn to adjust and manage and live with it, you know. So you, in that case, you develop the measures that can help you to maneuver within that situation. So this will help you, like I said, understand the general human behaviors, the behaviors of human beings, how they think, how they perceive issues, how they feel, reasons, and how they adjust to their environment. So let's look at different concepts or different types of, the concept of psychology. But before that, we define psychology as a way of studying behaviors and mental processes. So the way of studying the behaviors of human being and how their mind processes things and articulate it. So when a person is receiving information, how will it be processed? How will it be understood? And how will they put into actions? So in other words, what I would mean is that studying the mind of human being and how that mind works, the mind of human beings and how it works. So the science is so much interested in understanding the human behavior, how people, how human being thinks, how they know, and the reasons, their feelings, and how they adjust to the environment. So we use some of the concept within that psychology. One of it is behavior. Behavior is part of human. So behavior is simply the way of acting, the way of acting, the way you act. So when things happens around you, how do you respond to it? Imagine someone's abuse you in public, in the street. How will you respond to that? So I said here that behavior refers to the way living creatures respond to stimuli. What I mean by stimuli is those are things that happens or uh, activate either anger in you or makes you feel bad. All those are stimuli. Scientifically, we call them stimulus. Because, for example, if you pour petrol on the ground, it will need fire in order for it to stimulate, isn't it? So when you put in the fire becomes the stimulator. All right, becomes the stimulator. So how do you respond to things that happen around you? And human behavior, for example, in the population of behaviors exhibited by humans are and influenced by cultures, attitudes, emotions, values, ethics, authority, report, persuasions. What I mean here is that the way you act, the way you do things, how you do it, it is because of the following things. Number one, your culture, what you believe in. Your culture will determines your behavior. Your attitudes, will determines your behavior. Emotions, like I said, emotions is it is what control how you want things to be done. If you are calm, you will always be making right decisions, and your reactions will always be slow. But when your emotion is always hot, basically that's what is called a hot temper. So you react so fast. Okay, and then values is generally about how you are seen, how you see others. In other words, how you are seen or how you see others. Ethics That's the belonging, the groups. You might be a Moganda, you might be any kind of tribe, but that also influences your what? Your behavior, report, or what you get, persuasions, what you want to achieve, etc. These are things that determines your behavior. And number two, another concept is personality. Now, personality are the characteristics and unique way in which an individual responds to the environment. It refers to the unique way in which subject behaves. It emphasizes consistency of behavior, but uniqueness is also stressed. Now, what I mean here, personality is the way in which you respond to certain things. Now, if someone slapped you and you don't slap back, your personality is somebody who don't like quarrel, right? If someone is shouting and you don't shout back, that what comes out of your behavior is what becomes your personality. The consistency, something that you keep doing every day, it becomes your personality. That eventually becomes your personality. So, what are the goals of psychology? Number one is to describe the behavior, what people do, explain behavior, why they are doing what they are doing, predicting what would happen if I act this way, and eventually being able to control. Now, we have several types of psychology, and I think this is some of the areas that some people ask. Clinical psychology focuses on the therapist, all right? Treatment of people that experience mental or psychological challenges, your behaviors, needs therapy, counseling, your attitudes has changed in a way that you need to be talked to or you need to be treated, and thus focuses much more of that. The word therapy means treatment, all right? So eventually, when you have any of that, you will be need to be handled by a clinical psychiatrist or a clinical psychologist, and we have academic psychology, which focuses on the teaching and doing research. This is done by the teachers. You see the way they can help you to cope up with the environment of learning. And then we have applied psychology. It works also at school. That is practically applying the psychology skills into real life situations. All right. So we have fields or branches of psychology. Fields or branches of psychology. And one of it again is clinical psychology. It's the field of psychology that specializes in helping people with problems and adjust to the demands of life. So people may be suffering from anxiety, people may be suffering from depression, people may be suffering from sexual dysfunctions, or maybe psychological disorders. All right. So clinical psychology, that sections will help these people to adjust to the demands of life, because sometimes life can demand. Because, for example, let's talk about sexual dysfunction. Somebody who cannot sexually perform, but life will demand him to perform sexually. So that a person need clinical psychology, all right? Need to understand the ways of life clinically, all right? Depression. Depression is a situation where depression is a situation where an individual loses interest and so many things. Most of them withdraw from others. They want to be alone. They lose appetite. Is a very chronic stage of psychological disorders. Now we also have counseling psychology. This field is the one that is used to interviews and test to define people's problems. We use this counseling psychology to understand what could the problem be, and such problems could either include relationship, could include family, could include academic and all that. So such people do not behave in seriously abnormal way. So we deal with counseling psychology for people who encounter difficulties in making academic decision in case of schools, or maybe vocational decisions, or other people who find it difficult to cope up with friends, to sustain or maintain friendship, or even be close to people. And we have school or educational psychology. This is done at school, helping identifying students' problems and assisting them to overcome those problems so that they can do better in their learning. And developmental psychology is a field of studies that focuses on the physical, emotional, and cognitive. Cognitive is concerned with the thinking ability. How is an individual thinking and growing mentally? And social changes that occur throughout the lifespan of an individual. So this one try to handle problems that are relatively concurrent within the environment, within a specific type of growth. So it's concerned with your growth, the concerns with as some people is growing, what happened at what stage and all that. So when we go down to child development, you're going to realize that children have like 3 stages of growth. That stage of mouth, So developmental psychology is concerned with those processes. And personality, this one deal with the quality or characteristics of a person, determining what influences the person's their thoughts, behavior, and also discuss some of the abnormal patterns of behaviors that happen within individual. Because if you look at it critically, you're going to realize that not everyone does things the same way. Other people do their things in their own way, and others also do their things in a certain way. All right. So we have social psychology, which is concerns with individual thoughts and behaviors in a social situation. So, how do you people behave? How do other people, influence your behavior, change, make you do things? And basically, this particular area of social psychology, the first lesson that I shared, tackled quite deep about social psychology. So we have environmental psychology, which focuses on the environment, how the environment influences individuals. We have the lack of industrial, the industry. Those basically focus in relationship between people and their works area. Then we have forensic. Forensic psychology is applied in the field of law. Is used to study, define the criminal justice, basically helping to detecting and selecting some of the suitable people who can handle and how people who has been affected by crime cope up with the situations of stress and other things. So we have the like of community psychology, which is emphasizing on the social setting and systems around the individuals. People and their problems can be understood. How is that possible? So we consider some of the social setting that can be put in place that can help people and their problems be able to be understood within the community, basically. So we have some of the psychosocial problems and their management. There's some of the problems that affect people which are psychologically, socially associated or related. So one of it we have mental problems. Mental problems can be managed by counselors, educations, counseling. You counsel an individual, you guide them, you educate them, you sensitize them, and basically on what is affecting them. So, especially let's say someone is really going through financial situation, such a person may be offered counseling on how they can cope up with such situation. Number two, we have juvenile delinquency. Juvenile delinquency. This juvenile is related to young people. You know, the challenge, the psychological problem affects the minors, those who go through crime like rape and all that. So this can be managed by rehabilitations or education, or maybe having these people into within isolated area, or maybe we have where we call national rehabilitation centers where these people can be kept there. Then they are given skills, and then they are trained to in order to be able to adopt with life that and challenges that affect them psychologically. And we have HIV and AIDS sickness is one of the problems that affect people psychologically that falls under psychosocial problems. So HIV has affected so many number of people around the world, and it can be managed by through medications, sensitizations, education, etc. And we are aware that HIV can't only be managed once a person has contracted it. So it affects people normally when a person finds themselves positive. It's not it's a situation. Some of them could decide of committing suicide. So they need services like counseling and other things they have to avoid. So we are saying that this sickness that affect people so much, but can be managed by having one partner in a relationship, self-control, avoiding pornographic materials, something that push you into sex interests, premature sex, and giving you or people who have such problems educative programs about HIV, medications, and sensitization as well. So we have also what we call social divisions. The divisions is a systems of action that depart from socially acceptable legal and ethical standards. Some of those behaviors or attitudes that which is not is basically social but is not illegal, but sometimes might not really be appreciative, you know. For example, like having tattoo on your body is not illegal, but people have their own judges whenever they see you. And then being attracted to the same sex, let's say having feeling for a fellow woman or a fellow man, is not a criminal crime by law, but in the book of Bible, it is a crime or something like that. But of course, like I said, it's socially legally acceptable, but it's not ethical as well. Like when you come talk about raping, that's not socially acceptable, even legally. Like child molestations, having sex before marriage. It is having sex before marriage is an individual understanding, can be called sins biblically or something like that, right? So is based on the you, society, what you believe in, and all that. But we have the like of rape. This is actually something that shouldn't be here. All right. So We have also alcoholism and drug abuse. Those who take some of those, the caffeine, the opium, the Arion, those are the drugs that can affect individual life, that generally need to be uh, to affect them and cause them psychosocial problems. Family conflicts. Normally, when parents, the mother and father, have conflicts for a period of times, this can affect the psychology of the entire family or even themselves. So this can be managed through counselings and guidance, education or sensitization, etc. We also have challenge of early marriages, where young people below 18 get involved into marriage. Uh, these people also need counseling, and those who are promoting it need to be educated and also being informed that this kind of act is bad. We have things like abortion, whereby is illegal in Uganda, unless it is medically related. That is when it can be lawful. So which means if you're pregnant, if you conceive, and then there is a medical condition that affect the fact that you can produce, so that you can be allowed lawfully to do abortion, right? But anything outside that is illegal. Defilement also one of it, affecting the psychological problem, causing psychological problem to people. This is having sexual intercourse with a guy below 18, according to the law of Uganda, and this can be managed by sensitization, also making people to understand that this is not something good within the society. And then we have what we are calling sexual divisions. This can be called as prostitutions, or maybe what I call the erotism. It's something like including sexuality, lesbianism, homosexuality, sex between women, men, masturbation, the incest. The incest is things like, uh, in fact, is what is called abomination. Let's say a sister having sex with a brother is what is called incest. So all those things can affect people individually and personally. All right. So we have areas like human learning. How do people learn? This particular topic here, please, if you are doing certificate, ignore this topic of learning, human learning, belongs to diplomas. Okay, if you're doing diploma, uh, you can you're going to organize that, and all right. So basing on what I think I got was developmental psychology. Let me try to find out any other area. So some of these I didn't receive any complaint about some of this area. So you're not going to go through that. We even left with some few minutes. So like the attitudes, if you have any problem with that, you can let me know and I can organize and come back for that. So if this lecture ends, then we're going to see you for the other course units. Somebody requested for developmental psychology. Somebody requested for developmental psychology, I think. So what is going to happen is I'm going to share with you the revision questions. So stress is also one of the key concepts. Please make sure that you make revisions about this. And I think we can discuss that. It's one of the key requirements. Now, stress is regarded to anything that stimulates you and increases your level of alertness. You become more sensitive in a way that you're afraid. Um, if you just feel a little bit stressed, because actually stress is important, but should be at moderate level. This can also be a motivational factor. It can help you to achieve whatever you want. Let's say maybe you are revising and the pressure is too much. You need to read and pass your paper. You're stressed. Yes, that's a moderate level of stress, and you can achieve that. That's important. All right. Now, these are things that causes stress, or maybe let me call it as signs of stress. Not the causes, the sign of stress. The causes of stress may include like poverty, education pressure, family conflicts, etc. So stress signs is the feeling of denial, right? Feeling of denial. When you feel denied, it can be stress. It can increases your level of alertness. Hunger. Hunger. This is a change of your emotion negatively. And withdrawing, when you see someone, okay, talking about hunger here, someone get annoyed, let's say angry so quick, and that of which is not the way the person used to live or behave, but this person has become a little bit very reactive. Every little thing is annoyed and something like that. Could be stress actually. Then withdrawing socially, this is someone when someone used to stay with the people, but now you begin to see him alone. He's quiet. He's not talking. Just want to stay to him by himself or herself. Just need to know that this stress. We have anxiety. Anxiety is that the feeling of being scared, like you're being too much alert, and you begin to have, like, say, your temperature rises, your breathing rate changes, and all that. All right, so we have depression. Like I talk about that. Depression is that a situation whereby somebody loses interest in so many things. Exhaustion, feeling exhausted. Sleeplessness, not sleeping. Someone is unable to sleep. Emotional reactions, shouting too much, crying too much, and all that. Lack of concentrations. You cannot do anything. You just can't focus to achieve a simple task. All right. So that basically define or tell us that you're going through stress. And health problems can also be a sign. Now we have also cognitive symptoms, something that has to do with your memory, your brain, your mind operation. So one, we have memory problems. When you're too stressed, you can forget, inability to concentrate. This is directly affecting your mind. Trouble thinking clearly, poor judgment, seeing only the negative. You only do look at negative things. And then constant worry, fearful anticipation. You predict things that scares you only. All right. And emotional symptoms include like moodiness, restlessness, short temper, inability to relax, feeling tense. Feeling tense means that you're unable to stable, let's say deeply, there is that deep feeling that an individual could have, like you can't breathe well or something like that, and you feel like overwhelmed, you can't do it anymore, you feel like tired, like everything is all over you. Okay, so these are some of those behavioral symptoms. um Finally, what you do if you're having issues with some of the thing, I'm going to share with you some of the revision questions that will help you to cope up with this causes of stress. Yeah, look through them and understand them one by one. Okay, and all right, that's that. So I'm going to end this lecture for the psychology and expecting that you're able to carry out things. We have the last one is actually aggression and violence. That feeling of hunger and antipathy that result into the violent behavior, confronting people. Violence are those behavior that involve, let's say, like physical fight, intention, confronting others, damaging, or even killing someone, right? And we have what causes aggressions, and also strategies to control aggressions. You can check on yourself, try to find out what's wrong with you, and then don't dwell. Don't dwelling means that you settle and say that this is me. I am bad, and nothing I can do about it. Change the way you think, relax, improve communication skills, get active, recognize and avoid what triggers you, and then also avoid negative talk. Okay, all right, that's it, and see you. Meanwhile, those people that need to join short course, we have short course in monitoring evaluations. If you're doing public health, you can plan for that. The fees that's 250 for you, the student, and other people who are coming from outside have to pay more than that. And then we also have a new program that is language, language, which is German language, and that is with the some school that they share the same name, right? That's called KTI. But yeah, I am there. So anytime you can always reach out to me and help you out if you're interested. Otherwise, thank you for that day and thank you for your time as well. Bye bye.